Hi everyone, I'm John and welcome to the Fit Life channel. This video is part 3 of a long-term review on 3 popular handheld tripods for your Sony smartphone or digital cameras. Part 1 went over the Ulanzi MT16, an excellent selfie stick but with meager tripod capabilities. Part 2 looked at the UFO 2, an excellent tripod for solo video recording that can be bent into different shapes and attached to various objects and surfaces. This final video, part 3, will look at Sony's shooting grip with wireless remote commander. It's promoted as an essential accessory for the Sony Xperia smartphones and ZV line of digital cameras. Just like the other 2 previous tripod reviews, I will go over its features, its functions, long-term durability, and some positive and negative things I've experienced using it for recording video for the past 3 years. All right, let's finally finish off this long-term review and let's get this started. Let's go over some features of the Sony shooting grip with wireless remote commander. When this first came out, many people pointed out how it was very expensive for being mostly a plastic, small-sized tripod with limited functions. Let's see by the end of this video if those claims are true and if it's really worth spending all of that money on something like this. Sony markets it as an ideal, comfortable, and stable shooting grip for general photography or vlogging with a tilting and swiveling tripod head. It can also be used as a tripod on stable surfaces. A wireless remote commander built into the shooting grip allows control of basic camera functions with its shutter video buttons and zoom rocker via Bluetooth connection. However, the wireless remote commander only works with selected Sony cameras and smartphones with Bluetooth. In some regions, Sony also promotes it as being more stable for video recording than just holding the camera body. It may help for handheld vlogging, but for traditional video recording, I didn't see a significant improvement in video stabilization. It's mostly made out of high quality durable plastic and some metal with a length of 6.5 inches. It's lightweight in the hand and weighs around 215 grams or 7.6 ounces. There is a white version which is a bit lighter at 186 grams and 6.6 ounces. They both can support up to 1500 grams of weight. It's dust and water resistant. In 2024, it costs around $100 to $140 US. So this tripod is 4 to 5 times the cost of the Ulanzi MT6 and PhotoPro UFO 2. Let's go over the parts and their functions and see perhaps maybe it is worth that high cost or maybe not. If you remember from part 1 and part 2, the Ulanzi MT16 and PhotoPro UFO 2 used a ball head mount. For the Sony shooting grip, it uses a tilt and swivel head for your camera body. So if you push this button here on the front, it will go ahead and rotate the top mount towards you. On the left hand side, this is the button for the tilt adjustment. You just push it down and hold it. If you pull it all the way to the left, it stops here, and you can go all the way to the right. You can also adjust it to different angles in this 180-degree plane. Keep the button pressed down, move it to the angle that you want and release it, and you should hear a click, meaning that it's locked in place. Here at the top of the mount is a rubber pad to protect the bottom of your camera body and a 1/4 inch screw to secure it. Here at the top is the tension knob to tighten or loosen that 1/4 inch screw. On the right hand side, you have the tilt adjustment wheel. So this will increase or decrease the tension for the tilt button here. I recommend you use a coin to adjust the tension. You can see here that when I used a screwdriver, it did damage that slot. So the tilt adjustment tension can be very loose like here, or you can make it very stiff for more fine adjustments. So that's it for the upper portion of the shooting grip. If we move to the middle, we have the wireless remote commander, which I will go over shortly, And at the bottom we have the grip with 2 tripod legs. You just pull them out just like this, and it will turn into a tripod on a stable surface. Also, these tripod legs do not lock into any position, so if you need to use it, you need to fully extend it and make sure that it stops here so that when you do put it down, it won't accidentally fall over. And at the bottom of the tripod legs and shooting grip, you have these rubber feet which protect it from a variety of surfaces. So here in the center, we have the wireless remote commander. Here on the upper left-hand side, you have the photo or shutter button. Going to the middle, you have the rocker switch, so you can zoom in or zoom out if your camera body and lenses supports that. In the very center, hopefully you can see this, there's a tiny slot. That's actually a light indicator. If you are trying to connect this shooting grip to a camera body, this will go ahead and let you know it's trying to connect. Or when you are recording video, it will turn red to let you know that it is recording. Here in the upper right hand side, you have the movie or video record button. On the lower left hand side, you have a C1 or customization button. So this will mimic the one that is on your camera body. And last, on the lower right hand side, you have the lock button. If I push this to the left, it will unlock all these buttons so that you're able to use it. And of course, if you lock it, you can't use the buttons here. If you will be storing this grip inside a bag or in a drawer full of stuff, I recommend keeping this on the lock option because these buttons are very sensitive and easy to press down. If you have it in the unlock position, one of these buttons may be pressed down and it will rapidly drain the battery. And for the last portion of the wireless remote commander, if we turn it to the back and lift up the tripod legs, we have the battery compartment here. At the bottom of the battery compartment, it tells you which battery you need to use. It's a CR2032 lithium cell battery. To open it, you just follow directions here on the back. Pull the switch to the left and hold it, and go ahead and pull this one down, and the battery compartment lifts straight up. You will need to use a flat tool to pop this battery out. And to reinsert this battery compartment into the grip, bottom first, and just push down and it will lock into place. Let's check out how well this shooting grip has held up for the past 3 years. Aesthetically, the plastic has held up extremely well. This looks almost new except for some minor scuffs here on the front of the shooting grip. Here at the back of the shooting grip, there are some scratches, and also at the bottom of the tripod legs. So in person, this shooting grip looks almost brand new, similar to how it was when I first got it out of the box. Even the white lettering here has not faded. My hands tend to be very sweaty and I record in very hot weather. Usually your sweat is very corrosive and it tends to wear out this type of print. Sony did an excellent job using this high durable paint. So after 3 years, the lettering still looks very clean and crisp. I've dropped this shooting grip many times and it's still going strong. Because it's short, compact, and very thick, it helps it avoid a lot of abuse and take it as well. And with the wireless remote commander, the buttons function still as if they are new. I haven't had any issues using the buttons to control the camera functions when I can get the shooting grip to connect to the camera body. All right, right now it's 2:30 in the morning. I'm about to head off and go do a 3-mile or 5-kilometer trail run. So yeah, this is a bit early. After I'm done with this trail run, we'll get into some positive and negative things about the Sony shooting grip with wireless remote commander. See y'all later. All right, so I just returned from that 3-mile or 5-kilometer trail race, and well, it turned out to be extremely challenging and ended up being more like 4 miles or around 6.5 kilometers. Many parts of that race were very unstable and there was a lot of chances of falling or slipping, so I couldn't bring out the Sony shooting grip to do some videos so you can see how it performs there. So let's get to some positive things about the Sony shooting grip with wireless remote commander. The first positive thing about this shooting grip is how light, compact, and easy it is to carry around when recording videos or vlogging. Because of its small compact size, it's very easy to slip into a bag if you want to vlog or record video on the go. Also, if your coat or pants pocket is large enough, it is easy to slip into as well, unlike the Ulanzi MT16 or PhotoPro UFO 2. These usually require a larger backpack or even something like this messenger bag to carry around. Because it is compact and sits low to the ground in tripod mode, there's minimal chance of my camera falling over. The tripod legs are thick, solid, and doesn't feel like they will collapse. The second positive thing about this shooting grip is how naturally it fits into my hand. While most traditional handheld tripods are straight and very uncomfortable to hold, this one has deep grooves on the front of the tripod legs and here on the front of the grip for your palms and fingers. This allows a comfortable and firm grip that's essential, especially when your hands are sweaty or you're using it in the rain. And while not a standout feature for some, it's one of the few tripods that looks great paired with Sony smartphones and digital cameras. It has a subtle yet professional look that isn't tacky with bright colored accents like the Ulanzi MT16 or PhotoPro UFO 2. The big advantage of the Sony shooting grip over something like the PhotoPro UFO 2 is its wireless remote commander. So that should be the most positive thing about it and justify its high asking price. Well, not really. Let's talk about some negative things about this shooting grip. The first negative thing about this Sony shooting grip is the Bluetooth connection. It can be very finicky and have difficulty connecting to my Sony cameras and smartphones, or just take a very long time before it finally does. It seems to have more issues connecting to my Sony Xperia phones compared to my Sony digital cameras. I usually have to reset the Bluetooth connection here several times in order to get it to connect to my Sony Xperia phones or my digital cameras. And once it does have a Bluetooth connection, sometimes it just disconnects. You can only have one device registered at a time for Bluetooth connection. If you own multiple Sony cameras like myself, you have to reset the shooting grip every single time to use it on a different one. The photo button and zoom rocker feel too spongy and loose to use for photography. The photo button requires a long, loose press to activate, which can contribute to excessive movement. It lacks a firm half press to focus. Instead, I just use the one on the camera body. The camera controls feel less spongy and more intuitive than the shooting grip. The second negative thing about the shooting grip is how short it is for handheld vlogging. And in tripod mode, because of its short height, it can be very difficult to choose places to vlog, especially when you are sitting down. One of the main features of this shooting grip that Sony markets is that it's really great for vlogging. However, if you look at the cameras it recommends it for, they have a minimal focal length of 24 millimeters, such as this Sony Xperia Pro I or the Sony ZV-1. So this grip may not be long enough for those focal lengths, even for someone like myself with longer arms. If you don't like having your face so close to the camera, this might not be a good grip to go with. So right now I'm using the Sony Xperia Pro I with its main 24 millimeter lens. This will give you an idea how it looks like using the Sony shooting grip. So my arm is kind of fully extended. There's a slight bend to it, and I am using active stabilization. But you can see here, it's not so cropped in compared to just using the Sony Xperia Pro or an Xperia phone with just your hand. Here is the Sony ZV-1 with its 24 millimeter focal length. I do have it on active stabilization, so you can see how it looks using the Sony shooting grip. My arm is fully extended with a slight bend in my arm. The camera is about 2 feet away from my face, and looking at the display, it doesn't look too tight, so not bad at all. However, remember my arm is a bit long, so if yours is shorter, it might be cropped in a little bit, especially using active stabilization. And lastly, the third negative thing about this Sony Shooting Grip is its high asking price. Even in 2024, it hasn't dropped down much from its original asking price of $140 US. The finicky Bluetooth connection, the spongy buttons here on the wireless remote commander, and its very short length for handheld vlogging may make it difficult for some to pay that much for this. Despite its high cost, you get a comfortable, durable, and lightweight handheld tripod that you can carry almost anywhere and conveniently for vlogging and recording videos on the go. And looks very good paired up with a Sony smartphone or digital camera. But that's about it. After all of that, would you still buy this tripod? Go ahead and leave it in the comments and share with us what you think about this shooting grip. And finally, out of all three of those handheld tripods, which one do I recommend for your Sony cameras and smartphones? I'm going to recommend the Photo Pro UFO 2. Because of its lightweight and the ability of its tripod legs to bend into various shapes, it has many advantages for handheld vlogging that the other two lack. It's tall enough to use as a tripod for sit-down vlogs. It may not look that great with your Sony cameras or smartphones, and its long length may be difficult to fit into your pocket or small bags, but its affordable price and what it offers makes this the tripod that I recommend the most. Leave it in the comments if you agree with my recommendation, or perhaps you have other handheld tripods that you can share with us that are the same or even better than the three that I recently reviewed. That's it, everyone, for all three reviews for some of the most popular handheld tripods for your Sony cameras and smartphones. I hope these reviews gave you enough information to help you make a confident decision on which one to go with for your handheld vlogging and video recording requirements. Leave in the comments which one you like the best, or perhaps you felt that all three are not that great for your Sony smartphones or cameras, and perhaps you have a better suggestion on which ones that we can use. Don't forget to tap that like button, subscribe if you haven't done so, and until next time, stay safe, keep learning. I'll see you in the next video.